So did you fill the gap when I went off and introducing yourself?
I feel no, I just basically said who I was and I said hello to everybody and we're all find out we're all where we are all from. Oh, and Dr. Steve
Okay.
Rio, you're right around the corner from me, Dr. Steve. We have to
Yes,
get
I
together.
am right down the street.
Yes, you are.
Ah, that's great. That is great. Oh, you guys have got to meet. You've got to meet. Okay. So anyway, what I was saying is that she is a spiritual practitioner that helps you to empower yourself, to get connected with yourself. So Wendy, would you mind sharing with them how you got started in Lifeway?
Absolutely. It actually, honestly, guys, it was divine intervention. I'm so glad when Velvet asked me, can you share the story? Because this is a perfect platform to share the story. So back in 2016 and 17, I was actually with a different company and I was very just beside myself. Anyways, I got on this airplane to travel to one of the conventions, and there's this woman on the airplane. She had her back to me, but the person whom she was with, I knew her, so I said hello. And then at that time, this person turned around. It was Kathleen Nichols, and we looked at each other. It was one of those soul moments. We just knew each other. We immediately embraced, gave each other a big hug, and we just knew that somehow we're going to work together. We thought it was with that company, but she soon left that company very quickly. Make a fast forward 2019, I was researching for something to help my mom with COPD. Came across a study that showed yes, this patch that activates stem cells really helps improve COPD. And again, I was talking to that person that I knew on the airplane, not Kathleen, but the other person. I was helping her along. And she said, you know what, I think I'm going to go with this other product and I'm not going to go with this company. And I'm like, really? What is the product? And she said, it's a patch system and it activates stem cells. And I'm like, no way. I'm like, I was just learning about that. I wanted to go and get involved with that. And she goes, yeah, I'm going to sign under that gal that you met. Her name is Kathleen. And so Kathleen is my direct upline and we're very close and good friends. I'm like, you know what? Now you're showing off, right? So that's basically in a nutshell how I got involved with this wonderful technology.
That is awesome. That's great. And I'm sorry I had to unmute myself because the co-host keeps muting me. So it's okay. You just keep doing what you got to do. And isn't it wonderful that Spirit led you right where you needed to be, Wendy? Right? And that's exactly what happened with me. I was out in my field. I had a flower farm at the time. And as a practitioner, I just felt like I wasn't getting what I really wanted for people or even for myself. And at that point, I considered myself healthy. Everything was clipping along. And I remember dropping everything and I looked up and I said, God, there has to be a better way. And then that's where a series of events began to unfold that allowed me to be introduced to the patches. And from there, the rest is history. I mean, as soon as I was introduced to it, I said, yes, I want this. And Barbara Larrabee was the one who reached out, the brave soul, and literally said, I don't know how it's going to impact you, but let's give it a try. And as soon as I put it on, I knew something special was happening. Yes.
Velvet, you might want to put in your headphones. So we're getting an echo and you're very distorted, very crackly.
Okay. Let's see if this is going to work tonight because we've done this before and I didn't have much luck. We do have storms here. So I'm wondering if that's what's going on. Okay, what about that?
What do you think, guys?
Yes, better?
Better.
Okay, great. Great. And maybe I won't feel like I have to yell at you. Because I can hear you guys.
It's still a little crackly, just letting you know, but let's keep moving.
Okay, awesome. All right, so let's get started with we're all intertwined. And when we think about being intertwined, let's use the example of, have you ever met somebody that you just immediately hit it off and you felt a kinship, that you felt like you knew them before? Yeah, Megan's raising her hand. Definitely. And kind of the story that Wendy just shared with us is similar to that. I know that there are many of you on this call, especially Megan and Wendy, is that I felt an instant connection with them. So I did this on Monday when we did the Schumann resonance, but did you know that there's evidence in trees that when a tree is in need, that the other trees send this neural network through their roots to aid and support the weak tree? Yeah, Kathy's like, yes, I've definitely seen that. And we're also finding that plants have a neurological system to where they're communicating with us as well. So when we're thinking about the patches, what we really kind of need to know about ourselves is that we are all connected. We're all in this matrix or this collective consciousness together. Now, it can get very powerful at times. And one of the examples I want to give you on this is I had a friend that fell ill a couple of years ago and just kind of fell off, didn't know where he was, didn't know what was going on, but there was a sense of urgency in my soul. And I remember I was working with one of our mutual clients' patients, and she said, nobody has heard from him. And all of a sudden, it was like I dropped everything. My heart felt heavy, and I started crying. And I said, I don't know how to live without him. And this is just a friend, right? I don't know who to be without him. And she goes, oh my gosh, you guys have a really strong connection. Well, that night, that was still weighing on my heart. And in the middle of the night, my friend comes to me and says, Velvet, find me. And that was when I began this journey of locating him, finding out where he was, to find out that he was in a hospital and he was not doing well. He was in organ failure. And so from that moment on, we were working together to bring greater health and vitality to him. So when we're talking about the connection in this interwovenness, folks, when you're with someone, when you're having a relationship with other people, there's a connection that has brought you together. Okay. And there's a reason for it. Maybe would you like to say, I don't want to, stop you if you have a thought, share. You're good?
No,
Okay. Awesome. So I'm sharing this with you because I want everybody to know that every cell in our body is consciousness. And the best way that I can give you an example of this is I was in a computer class years and years and years ago. And as I'm sitting there just minding my own business and I'm taking this computer class, all of a sudden there was like this, oh my God. And the lady right next to me, she said, what just happened? Like she knew, like she was anticipating it. And I said, every single cell in my body just communicated with me and said, I am God to them. And she said, have you ever read The Course of Miracles? I said, no. And she goes, I think you better start reading that book. So at the time I couldn't because it was just way too expensive for me. But then a couple of years later, they really condensed it down. So I have been able to read the book and it kind of made some sense to me that we're all connected and that every single cell in your body is connected. So just because you have liver cells doesn't mean it's not communicating with your spleen cells. They are consciousness and they have to work in harmony together. And we as humans also have to work in harmony together. So with that being said, Wendy, I think I'll let you take this one here on talking about the light.
absolutely. So, we are working with these patches, right? Because it reflects light back into this being, that which I'm currently occupying. But light is not a stranger to us because we are light. The way this human body came into fruition through the divine is my greater eternal self focused its energy through the quantum field, which is like a transistor, right? And takes a higher vibration, brings it to a lower vibration. And my eternal self focused this energy through that field into the physical realm and focused the light for so much that it created a density, creating this physical body. So my body is a density of light that is a direct extension from my eternal self and the divine. So anytime we see a cell, all of our cells are filled with light. You know, even if you will go to the scientific aspect, you know, we have electron, protons, neutrons, and those electrons constantly get excited if you want to look at it from a scientific standpoint. But in truth, our whole entire being is that of light. And when a cell decides, you know, that it's no longer in use, actually, it's our being, our eternal self is realizing that that cell is no longer in use. And so it's time for it to retire. So we withdraw our light from that cell and therefore it perishes and it dissipates and moves on. But we are the ones who are in consistent and constant control with our divinity of how our physical being and our experience is consistently played out. So we actually glow a full spectrum. And, you know, our eyes, beautiful as they are, can only pick up a very small percentage of that spectrum. So, you know, with these particular wonderful products, we are able to reflect some of that light back in, kind of like recapturing it, holding on to it, because in truth, because of our programming, we've learned to create segregation, you know, from the divinity to us, from our soul to us, from our light to our physical body. And this is kind of, and you're going to learn through this wonderful talk that you're going to have with Velvet and myself, is that the divinity and that communication and that connectedness is coming back together with these patches. Now, Velvet, could you talk about this wonderful picture of the heart?
Yeah, I think it's important for all of us to get used to the idea that our heart is electromagnetic. It's sending out a signal, but it's also bringing in. So when we look at our heart and the electricity that's within our body and the magnetism that's in our body, is that we are literally creating our beliefs. We're able to see our beliefs in reality because that's sending out a signal that's creating that world. So when we're looking at strong beliefs and strong thoughts coupled with two, right? So we have the father and we have the mother, the father being the thoughts, the mother being the feeling of the thing. And then it produces a child, and your child is always your conditioned world. And we're taught not to treat the condition out here. In many, many scriptures, we're taught close that closet, get away from what you're seeing, so that then you can manifest and create more of what you do want to see. Okay. So on this one here, Wendy, I will be happy to read this one, but I'd like for you to, I think you're going to share a crystal with us. I'm going to read this for everybody, and then Wendy's going to share an extension of this. Each patch in the spiritual realm can be seen as a unique doorway in higher consciousness and increased vibrational energy. These patches serve as portals that help us connect with our inner selves, the universe, and the divine. By engaging with these patches, we can tap into their inherent wisdom, guidance, and healing properties to elevate our spiritual journey. Just as each patch on a quilt contributes to the beauty and the strength of the whole, so too can these spiritual patches aid us in weaving together a tapestry of enlightenment, growth, and transformation. So Wendy, I'm wondering if I should stop the screen share so that everybody can see. Do you have your crystal? Yeah, I'll
Yes,
stop
I do.
the screen share.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Okay. So as you know, we just got through hearing about the crystals. So crystals are a living, breathing, not breathing, a living energetic vibration. And each crystal carries a different vibration. Now, crystals have been used in our history in many different ways. You know, they've been found in the pyramids. We've been using it in our radios for a long time. And the reason being is because crystals can easily be programmed with a focus intention to therefore carry out that program and continue emanating that new energy to create a specific outcome. Just like these particular patches are crystal lattice, and they are programmed to receive and to reflect a specific light wave. So they're living beings that which work with us in our divinity. So again, because we're all light, right? This is also light, just more dense light, just like this physical body's more dense light. But within, right, we have light that's constantly emanating from the divinity of where we're connected to. So by wearing this particular patch, we are reflecting that light waves. We're using that crystal lattice, working with it. I know that a while ago, myself and Kathleen, this is because I've been working with the company and this particular technology for over nearly 4 years now. And, you know, we had a conversation a while ago, and this seems kind of like a duh for for what we do. But she's like, you know, I just don't feel like they're working very much. And then we kind of had a meditation together. And we're like, we're completely forgetting about the truth of which these are living crystals, and we need to communicate with them and tell them our intention and how we want our body to be healed and to be communicated within itself, to break down those segregations, not only within our own body, but also within each and every individual that's on this planet that we're here to occupy it. So with that, that's a good segue, I think, for you there, Velvet.
Yeah, and Adele and I had a class together one time, and Adele is on the call right now, and she was talking about how to set an intention and to pray. You could say a prayer with your patch, that it literally empowered it even more. So I see as prayer as a way of connecting, like what you said, it's a living entity, and it's bringing this power, and that love just accelerates that energy, right? And I think this is a real, a lot of people don't realize that we have a crystal in our brain, in the pineal gland too. So I'd like for you to share on the Alavita.
Absolutely. So Alavita, guys, is our second strongest product to the X39, which we'll be hitting a little bit later. But Alavita is intertwined with the mystique of the pineal gland. It actually creates an activation, awareness, and opening. And for those of you that are not aware, the pineal gland looks like a little teeny tiny pine cone. It's basically right in the center of our skull. And it's designed to take in those fine vibrations from the divinity and translate them to, make them so that we understand them, we can feel them throughout our body. We understand some people see the messages from the divine that come in images. Some people hear it, and see it like in words. We all are very different, but it's all very beautiful. And that's basically our direct connection to our greatest eternal self. But it transcends more than physiology, this Alavita does. It acts as a tether, actually binding our ethereal bodies and our corporeal beings, nurturing profound bonds, fortified and a harmonious presence. So it literally is bridging that gap between what is unseen, from our divinity and the eternal love and unconditional light, the other way around, eternal light and unconditional love, and our eternal being, and into this body, through our eons, we have been segregated that there's the divine, there's our higher self or our soul, and then there's our physical body. But there is no separation in truth. It's all one. It's all one light. So this kind of brings it all together. So this ethereal force bestows solace and unity, as I was saying, diminishing chaos within and enriching in our essence in this realm of existence. So again, we're programmed so much chaos. And this again brings us right back down to the blueprint of whom we actually came here to be.
Absolutely. So it's so much more than just our outer beauty. It's about that connecting to the truth of who we are. and accepting ourselves as that being. And it's just really interesting because when I had my experience with Alavita, this wasn't a product that I was really interested in. I was just sticking with the X39. And then when I started wearing and using the Alavita product, that's when I realized that it was about accepting my truth. That was the spiritual concept that God was showing me, is that I'm using this to help you to accept your truth of who you are and really allow that to come forward, right? Come forward. You get to see it now. And boom, all of it. All right. So the Eon, prepared to be enchanted with the Eon, folks, the artistry of creation and power of materialization. Whispers abound of a mystical peptide akin to royal jelly that awakens upon donning the patch. Delving into the profound essence this peptide holds, we uncover its sacred duty in harmonizing the realm of creation within being. So what does that mean? It means that it's allowing us to bridge, right? There's no longer this lack, but there's this increase into this vibration of your totality, of your totality, of your divine essence. And so many times we have, even Wendy's been hitting on it, is that we think that we're physical and that there's some kind of break when it comes to the spiritual part. So the Eon patch, when people say, oh, this patch is like our happy patch. Well, of course you're going to feel happier because you're connecting with a divine essence that you literally were thinking that you weren't part of. And so the crystals are reminding you, hey, you're connected here. So when we're thinking about the Eon patch, think about how it's elevating your vibration and really reaching for that higher realm, that higher thought, higher state of being. So Wendy, I love this. This was posted on one of your boards today. And when I saw it, I said, we've got to have this today.
Yes, this is one of my favorites. So you are not separate from the whole. You are one with the sun, the earth, the water, the air. You don't have a life. You are life. So the divine essence that created everything that you see is also working through you, and through your focus and truth. That divine essence says, oh, we can go ahead and focalize that light, that energy, and to create a density. And that's how things are born. You are within everything, and everything is within you. The divinity, you breathe the divine, right? You see the divine, you feel the divine. Everything is you, and you are everything. It is in that segregation that we are de-empowered, right? It is
That's
that
right.
combination of coming together and realize, I help create all this with my focus, my desires, my yearning, my excitedness to experience things. The divinity goes, yes, we'll make that for you so you continue to experience it. And then you realize you are empowered. There's certain energies are on this planet that want us to keep us de-empowered and not powerful, not realizing how close, how tightly interwoven are we with the divine. We are so tightly woven that, again, you cannot separate the creator from us. It's all
That's right.
one. We are one in everything and everything around us.
Absolutely. Now, Wendy, I know that you're going to take this slide, you're going to really expand on it. And I love your thoughts when it comes to the carnosine. But let me go ahead and read this first and just let you take a breather for a minute. Mystical energy sanctum, right? Just think about that, folks. Mystical energy sanctum. This is the center. So in my maiden encounter with this enchantment, as David himself has shared with us many, many times, folks, that when he has worn the carnosine patch, that it's very, very powerful. And that he says he can't wear it at night because of the vividness of his dreams, because of how that communication begins to take off. So the vessels awaken, bathing in luminescence akin to the sacred verses, darkness banished, light reigning supreme. So there's lots of sacred texts that there's a part of us that once we awaken, when there's an awakening that occurs, that there's this eternal light that is constantly glowing, that there is no more darkness. So at the core of being lies the pulsating heart of the electromagnetic tapestry, a conduit to all realms and all souls. Remember, you're electromagnetic, you're connected, you're tethered, bound by ethereal threads to the divine essence. Our very DNA yearns for the eternal embrace of love, light, and vitality dwelling within. And I want to just say something to what Wendy was talking about earlier, is that when we have that darkness, we begin to start feeling disconnected. And yeah, there may be some powers. We know that there are some powers that don't want us to connect with that DNA. They want that DNA damaged. There's a reason for that, because inside of that is all of our love and light. It literally is dwelling within us. So Wendy, I'll let you go ahead and share your thoughts on this.
And there's so many thoughts. So as we are
Wow.
alluding here with our beautiful picture, you know, carnosine, it definitely helps with the heart, because carnosine is found throughout the heart, it's found throughout the brain. It's actually found everywhere throughout the body. Carnosine just improves everything. However, the heart itself, guys, is the center point in which our divinity, our eternal being basically is connected to this particular carbon-based body. Inside the heart, though, you know, is also a spark. And if anybody, you know, learned about heart math, I highly recommend it. It's an absolutely wonderful, wonderful something to learn about. But your heart is where your torrid comes off. And torrid is like an energy field that comes out the upper part of yourself and comes back around underneath, and vice versa. It's like an energy field, a connection. And that's how, in essence, we are all so very connected to one another. And to give you a little bit of example, just how well, let me back up here. So with carnosine, it's helping again, you know, break those barriers, get rid of those obstacles and detours as far as how we are communicating within ourself with our heart again connected directly to our divinity. So again, we have been programmed through this lifetime of, I don't know how many people can relate to this, you know, if you don't stop crying, I'm going to give you something to cry about, right? We're not allowed to really acknowledge ourselves. Yeah, I see a couple hands going up there. We're not able to acknowledge ourselves, acknowledge our feelings, and we learn how to push aside our feelings in our heart and not show vulnerability. Perhaps some have learned that. The carnosine helps make and break those obstacles, so we're now in communication once again with our heart and our emotions and how we're feeling and our connection with the divinity. And we have, again, we learned so many segregation, because to be segregated is to be de-empowered. But like there was a science experiment where somebody took a cell from a human being and had it in, let's say, Los Angeles, and took another cell and put it like in Arizona. They excited one of the cells, it started vibrating immediately. This one vibrated at the same time. You and I may seem like we are, you know, some people are in Florida, Texas, Wisconsin, here I am in California. We think we're farther away, but we're not. We're occupying that same place. We're vibrating at the same time. So we all feel each other. And we do that through the heart connection. We're all connected. It's quite absolutely fantastic and just exciting. You know, it is an illusion that we're actually separated by space. It isn't, because we're all connected via with the divinity. And I'm going to stop there because I could keep going on.
Well, you know, it brings me to a point, and I don't know how many musicians are online, but I play the guitar. And if you have a guitar in one corner of the room and you're in another, and you pluck a particular, like let's say the C string, that other guitar is now going to also vibrate the C string. So I love how that represents the harmony within all of us. And this is why I say that if you're going to go into Walmart, lift your vibration and go change the planet. I say it all the time, because you're influencing people's vibration through your heart and through your mind. Um, this is kind of a segue, so, or maybe it's not. I've just kind of gone off here, but I think I'm going to share something with you that Wendy hasn't even heard tonight. And this is going to be powerful because it's going to empower you. I get asked all the time, Dr. Velvet, how do I raise my vibration? Because a lot of people think you're supposed to sit there with your fingers and and on. Yeah, those things help. Playing nice music helps. Candles and incense can help, because what they do is they break your thought, your train of thought from the outside world and take you in. But I'm going to give you a trick here that works miraculously, and miracles will begin to happen in your life. Let's say that you go into a store and somebody is doing something that's triggering you. You're like, oh my God, I can't believe that they're doing that. I want you to pause as soon as you have that thought, and I want you to say to yourself, oh, I can remember a time where I would have done the same thing. Oh, I can remember a time where I thought like that. Oh, I remember a time when I might have acted like that. I can remember a time when I did act like that. What happens, and I don't know if many of you go through a process where you're looking through your shadow and you try to pick it apart in, how you're like, what the other person is. But by saying, I can remember when I would have thought that, done that, you instantly release the negative energy that has tethered you and bound you to a way that you used to be. And not only are you creating that miracle for yourself, but you're also creating it for the individual who is now there to serve you, to recognize your truth. So just practice it. Just try it. I can tell you, I've done this. I've experimented over and over again, and every single person. And what it does is it will lift your vibration. It will instantly lift your vibration. So there's a little tip for you. I'm so sorry, and thank you for letting me share. The energy enhancer patch. This is amazing to me because I was resistant to it. And the reason that I was resistant to it is because everybody said, oh, you got to try it. Oh, you got to try it. Well, usually when people tell me that, I'm like, no, I don't. And I really thought the X39, I'm full of energy. I'm full of myself. And so I'm going to read this to you, and then I'm going to share my experience with you. So it's interwoven threads of awareness. And believe me, when that awareness wakes up, it's kind of like sitting in the computer class. And then all of a sudden my cells say, hey, you're God to us. You need to take care of us. Within the tapestry of our being, each cell hums with consciousness. Should the symphony falter, discord may sow seeds of misunderstanding. How many times have we done that in our physical being? It's happening inside of us when this happens as well. Just as in human bonds, communication is the lifeblood of harmony. So as I was saying, how the liver has to communicate with the spleen, it has to live in harmony. Through my own studies and trials, a revelation emerged. This mystical talisman enhances our cognitive acuity. How many of you know that about the energy enhancer? You probably have felt it. Fostering a bridge to higher realms of thought and communion. So what happened? As resistant as I was, I finally broke down and said, okay, I'm going to try this patch. I need to know what all the hype is. But I think that God had a reason for it to be the last patch that I had to try. There was a reason for it. So as I put the patches on and I'm having my normal day, I decided to go to the kitchen and get some water. And as I'm walking to my husband and my housemates area to go talk to them, all of a sudden I'm stopped in the middle of the floor, and there's this, and I said, oh my God. Now listen, both of them came out of their room and said, what just happened? They felt it and wanted to know what I had done. And I'm standing there with my arms out, and I'm like, I have never felt this before. I feel totally turned on, tapped in, tuned in. And of course, I've felt tapped in, tuned in, turned on before, but not at this level. And I literally felt like I was channeling a higher dimension and it was streaming through every part of my being. It's a clear energy. When we step into that spiritual energy, it's a clean energy. It's clear. So that acuity is that your mind has just been shed of any belief or disbelief of yourself as being an energetic being. And that was the last patch that I had to experience and to experiment with to be able to bring this to you guys today. So talk about your cells being conscious. The energy enhancers release that flow. It connects all of that communication. It bonds all of the communication. It brings harmony and homeostasis to the energetic field of your body inside as well as your auric field. So it's just super, super amazing. I absolutely love this patch now. I think I just am addicted to it as well as the Alavita. Okay, so we have a beautiful glutathione. Now, Wendy, when we were talking about this earlier, you had some amazing thoughts regarding communication and some of the things that the glutathione performs in. So would you like to share with them in this, or would you like for me to read it first?
Go ahead and read it first. That sounds great.
Okay. It seems like you're delving into a thought-provoking concept about adjusting our frequency to navigate the challenges of existence. So you really need to understand that the glutathione is related to your existence. Dr. Harmon talks about it all the time, that the level of glutathione you have in your body is a direct relationship to your lifespan. The idea of immersing yourselves and ourselves in a world of illusions while maintaining a sense of self-preservation is intriguing. It is, right? You've got to say, I always say it, the human species intrigues me, right? It's almost like finding a delicate balance between engaging with our surroundings and protecting our inner essence. The notion of drawing energy from a higher power to sustain this equilibrium adds a spiritual dimension to the discussion, suggesting a continuous process of renewal and reinforcement. It's fascinating to contemplate how we interact with our environment while safeguarding our core identity. So, Wendy, I know you have something to say, but I want to say this while Spirit is bringing it to me. When we come to this planet, we are programmed in being something completely different than who we are. And we're always striving to get back to that core identity, getting back to the truth of who we are, getting back to our divine essence, getting back to our power. And this beautiful patch with its technology in it, with its frequency in it, is allowing that mitochondria to fill up with that energy, brighten ourselves, increase our longevity, increase our harmony, that allows us the opportunity to say, hey, there's more about me than I thought. Right? There's more about me than I thought. So you guys are much more powerful than you could ever believe. And really, this kind of reminds me of like battery itself. So Wendy, I'll be quiet now.
No, I just want to say you little rebel you when it came to the last patch. I love it. Oh, so guys, the one thing glutathione, a glutathione is, what's the first word there? Glue, right? Glue. And that is a beautiful segue right there. Thank you, Spirit, which is it glues all the parts and the pieces together, makes everything communicate. And what do I mean by that? So glutathione is found in and basically activates, as Velvet already said, is the mitochondria. The mitochondria is found in every single cell, right? Cells are what make you. Physical, mental, emotional, etherical, spirit. Everything comes down to how well that cell is working, right? The cell's not working, you might have physical issues, you might have mental issues, you might have not an ability to connect and be in alignment issues. It all comes down to the cell. But mitochondria also, yes, while they're found as an organelle within that cell, but they're also floating around throughout your whole entire body by themselves. The majority of them are found within your brain. But that mitochondria and the GHK copper peptide, excuse me, sorry, the glutathione, basically, it talks to your bones. It talks to different cells. So it talks to your bones. It talks to your blood, your circulatory system. It talks to your musculatory system. It talks to your organ system. It talks to every single system. It's like the glue, again, breaking down those segregations that, a liver cell has nothing to do with a pancreas cell. No, they have a lot. They are interwoven just like you and I are interwoven with the divinity. So the glutathione is like that glue. It's that communication thread that says, or better yet, the communication soup that which all of our cells are swimming in and communicates from one to the other. Such a beautiful, beautiful chemical that which our body makes itself, which is even wonderful, right? We know that the divinity knew that this was important, and that's why it's part of who we are. So
That's exactly right. And I so am appreciative that Spirit provided you that little glue. I love how Spirit works. I love how Spirit works. I move on to our ice wave. And so many of us know that that's immediate pain relief, but what is the spiritual concept of it? So once we transverse into the ethereal realm, we encounter the essence of suffering. This is true, right? Nobody comes to this planet and is pain-free, free of any kind of emotional pain. We experience all kinds of pain. Yet the enigma persists. Why does this veil of agony shroud some more heavily than others? Through the eons, we've come to grasp the profound truth that our very thoughts sculpt our reality. When shadows of negativity, especially those whispered in the silence of our souls, meaning that nobody else is hearing your thoughts, nobody else is understanding your heart, only God knows your heart. So you may be in pain, but that pain may be coming from because you love somebody so deeply. Well, Spirit hears that, the universe hears it. So when we're thinking about the whispers that we say silently, Ice Wave's going to help connect that as well. Cast their pale, they disrupt the natural harmony of our being, impeding the graceful dance of life's essence. Through this elixir may seem to offer fleeting respite from anguish. Its true enchantment lies in nurturing a luminescent stream of energy, fostering thoughts imbued with love, radiance, and vitality. So, Wendy, when we were talking earlier about this, I was sharing with you that I was totally excited when I saw the policies and procedures, and it was talking about releasing negative energy. That's what we can say is it relieves negative energy. And what did Spirit tell me about this patch way before policies and procedures came out? Matter of fact, when the policies and procedures came out, I said, yay, oh gosh, yes, the language is here. And this is, this is what Spirit has been telling me. So when we look at negativity, right? And when we're able to move that negativity, then we're moving that pain. And Wendy, I'm not going to repeat what you said because you articulated it so well when it came to pain. I'd like for you to share with the group what you shared with me.
oh, I hope I can recall. And so pain generally lodges itself in our body or shows up. Right now I'm being reminded of a beautiful thing that I learned in my 20s. When happiness and sadness or happiness and pain, doesn't matter what words you put on that, you can think of as they're butterflies, right? Happiness comes and lights on our arm and says, hello, I'm here. We're like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited to see you. And then the happiest butterfly goes, good, you've seen me. You acknowledge me. And it flits away. But then now comes the pain butterfly and lands on your shoulder. You're like, nope, I don't want to look at it. So what does the pain butterfly do? I'm going to have to sit here a little bit longer until you acknowledge me, until you own me and you love me. And I love this because what creates persistence, right? Because that's a focus. But it's also usually that pain is could be associated with an emotional memory. It started 5 or more years priorhand. Could be a mental memory. Again, memory as an energy that's lodged in our cellular body. But it's a lower vibration of something that which we're really not looking at and we're really not acknowledging. I just came out of a window of a lot of nerve pain, really no reason to be having it whatsoever. And I was just talking to Velvet. I'm like, Velvet, I should have called you. But nevertheless, Spirit was talking and going, just acknowledge it, the nervous system and what it provides for you. And, moving through it and loving it. And for me, that was enough for me to do. And, with the use of Ice Wave, it kind of like gets your programming out of the way so the body can come and go, oh, finally, we can work on healing us a bit better, right? And so that's what I love about Ice Wave, because it kind of removes that program, removes that vibration out of the way. So therefore you can finally acknowledge it where it's not seemingly so in your face and just, I don't want to look at it. And you can look at it again, go, oh, okay, I acknowledge it. I love it. And then it will go away. But it's part of the whole package, right? Getting rid of that lower vibration while coming in and activating other vibrations to encourage and support your body into the healing and back into alignment, I should say, in truth.
Yes, absolutely. Very well said. And you said something earlier, I'll just say that pain holds that lower vibration. And that is so true, right? So when we have that pain, we really need to be thinking about that and getting that circulated. Now, Silent Night. So I think you have some things you want to say on Silent Night as well, correct?
Go
Or do
ahead
you
and
want
read.
me to take it?
Go ahead and read it, and then I'll let you know what Spirit shares with me, because I don't remember right now.
Yeah, so what I'm being shared right now is that yes, we can read this, but what the real concept of the Silent Night, we all know that it's, helping with the melatonin, it's helping to balance out so that you're getting that deeper sleep. But what Spirit showed me is that it is so important for us to recharge our energy and go to that creative realm, whether you call it dreams or another dimension or whatever it may be, that this communication is necessary with the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind helps to cleanse those things that continue to hold us at the lower vibrations. So sometimes people say, Dr. Velvet, I have been having some really weird dreams lately. And I'll say, great. And they'll say, what do you mean great? Well, because you're cleansing, you're getting rid of, you're moving into another place. Sometimes those dreams can take us to a learning place. Like there's been many a times I've been in a school, I've been in front of a blackboard, whatever it is. So the stillness of silent nights presents us with the perfect opportunity to align ourselves with the deepest dreams and aspirations, allowing us to tap into our inner wisdom and set intentions for the future. So again, what we're kind of seeing here is that we are the creators. We are a part of the creation, but we are also creating. Manifesting is nothing more than drawing what has already been created to you, right? It's drawing it to you. And you're creating it through the thoughts, through your dreams, through your aspirations. So with that being said, I'm going to take this off a little bit because we would normally say silent night is a patch that helps us to sleep well at night. But what's happening with the individuals that actually do better with wearing silent night during the day? Now, if you think about what I just said about how it's tapping us into our inner wisdom and setting intentions and our wisdom and connecting us with the subconscious mind, they may be experiencing what they need to, because remember, we don't know what an individual needs, but we need to learn to be more intuitive when it comes to the patches of, hey, what is it that my body is asking for? Just like my resistance with the energy enhancer, how many times was Spirit going to tell me, you need to try. And I'm like, oh no, I'm not going to try it because you told me I needed to try it. Well, silent night may be one of those things where somebody has told you, you don't need to wear the silent night during the day. Don't wear the silent night during the day. But your spirit is saying, no, I need you to wear it during the day because it's allowing you to become conscious on a much deeper level, right? And then at night, when you go to sleep, Now you're able to bring it all together and your body is able to move into harmony with that. So I needed to say that in that way.
Yes, and very well said, Velvet. And because Silent Night, guys, you can think about sleep. What is sleep to everybody? Sleep is when we actually get the proper sleep. Our brain goes into specific brain patterns that allow us to sink into and raise up into higher vibrations. And that's where all the healing, more energy is coming in, more vibrations to heal that all of our cells, the physical, mental, emotional bodies, including our field going out into the etheric. And a lot of people that I've noticed through my clientele, basically those that have a hard time sleeping or hard time dreaming are those that have been through such traumatic or horrific childhood or experiences that they're just hanging on to. They're kind of like in PTSD all the time, right? They're hanging on to the things so badly. You find these people really have, chronic constipation because they're just hanging on so tightly. And Silent Night kind of helps the body calm that angst down. So therefore you can get into those deeper levels of REM sleep. You can get into those deeper levels, with your brain waves and allowing the body to actually be healed and then going into dream world. I know so many people who have said, I just don't dream, right? And then they get on Silent Night and get on the different patches and products that we have. And also, my gosh, I've dreamt the first time in my whole life that I can remember. It's quite amazing, to a person who has dreamed their whole life. But nevertheless, that's good news, right? Because no judgment to them. What's important is that is allowing their body to reach those levels where they can get that healing on all levels that there is possibly to heal on.
Yes. Oh my gosh. So well, beautifully said. It is just amazing. I love it. Oh my gosh. I love it. It always brings something else to me. All right. So let me make sure I get to this other one here. Now, Spirit just showed me this one. And I've been sitting here looking at these slides all day today, SP6 complete. And when we're looking at this particular patch, Spirit said, and this was after the second or third round of being or using the tummy reduction protocol. It did not hit me my first round. It did not hit me that second time, but kind of between that second and third, it's about the completeness of your relationships. It's about being enough. And why do a lot of, people, why do we do the tummy reduction protocol, right? Because somewhere there's something missing. We're having certain cravings that we're having that we're indulging in that's put excess weight on us because we're filling a hole, we're filling a gap. So when Spirit spoke to me on this one, I was like, oh my gosh, I am enough. I am whole. I am complete. So this yearning for wholeness is a deep-rooted desire that many people share. I'm not the only one that does this. We all want to be accepted. We all want to be loved. We all want to be fit in. We want to fit in. And that's part of the tribal sense of protection, right? Horses do it. And I want to give you a kind of a side note here because I used to race horses, but when a colt misbehaves, the mares will tell him, you need to get away from the herd. And they'll send him out. And he cannot come back to the herd until he gives the indication that he's learned his lesson. Now, we don't want to put that into the human context of it, but in some way, we're connected to that too. Is that and listen, when we are told you've got to do X, Y, and Z, we do need to have that rebelliousness in us to make sure that we are staying within the spiritual part of us as well, and that we're not conforming. Right? But animals do it because they need to protect themselves. And in many ways, we have forgotten that we are already protected. There is a divine essence that lets us know when to be aware. There's discernment, there's judgment, there's this existing energy around us that's always keeping us safe. So it's important to acknowledge these desires and work towards fulfilling them, as they are essential components of a fulfilled life journey. What are those? Those that you are desirable, that you are loved, that you are balanced, and that when you know that you are enough, then you are enough in all of your relationships. And you're accepted, right? You accept who you are. So, Wendy, you want to share something?
No, I think you said it just absolutely beautiful. You know, again, it brings up the program that we are segregated. And when you realize the truth that you are everything that is around you, then how do you accept the tree? Of course you do. You are part of the tree. So in truth, you really do accept yourself. It's just the program that tells us that we are not good enough.
That's
And
right.
so I love this. And, I was mentioning to Velvet earlier, I'm like, I don't know, a lot of you know, but SP6 actually stands for spleen point. And I'm like, Velvet, what does spleen mean again? What did you say?
It was acceptance.
Yeah,
It was accepting ourselves.
yeah.
Yeah. So I was floored by that, you know? Oh, this one just humbles me. It just humbles me. And now I think I just want to recommend SB6 to everybody. Everyone. Okay, there shouldn't be any doubt about this one. Wendy, would you like to read this one? Would that be okay? Can you see
Certainly.
it all?
Yes. So everybody, the Holy Grail X39, what does it have to do? Well, before I read, actually, I'm going to let you read because I get jumbled with my words, but I would like to say this though, that the X39, we like to say, everyone who's with the X39, we use as a launching pad for every other specific product that we have to laser focus in other areas. But the X39, why does it make it so important? Because it activates that peptide, right? That light that basically reawakening yourself, reawakening your healing capacity for healing your being. It reawakens those stem cells, and you are made up of 60 to 70 trillion stem cells. And that cell is how you translate, that cell is how you communicate, that cell is how you transition from the spiritual or energetic world into this physical realm, that which we call, third dimension humanity, whatever you like to call it. And without those stem cells healing, repairing, or replacing those damaged cells, we wouldn't have the ability to have a great physical experience, have a mental capacity to think and translate the divinity through the pineal gland and speak those words that myself and Velvet and you as well speak to others from the divine, and having those wonderful motions. Those cells are the bridge from the divinity into this being for us to understand and express and experience this world. So I will try. So the symbolism of pure love and light is intertwined with the umbilical cord, and the stem cells offer a profound metaphor for a spiritual relationship. I mean, just think of that, the umbilical cord. I don't know if you've ever seen it. It twists. It's just like a DNA strand. It's really, really cool. In this metaphor, the umbilical cord containing stem cells represents the tangible bond between a mother and child, reflecting our inherent link to the higher spiritual realm. By recognizing stem cells as a conduit, connecting us to the divine energy, we acknowledge our unique essence as a manifestation of creation. Cultivating and nurturing this connection enriches our cellular vitality, manifesting divine wisdom in every aspect of our existence. This analogy beautifully underscopes the deep interconnectedness we share with the cosmos and with the intrinsic luminosity that dwells within us. For those of you who ever had children, when a child is first born with their mother, their energy is so intertwined from 0 to 2 years, or around 2 years of age. Why? Because the mental body is not yet formed. The physical body is not yet formed. You're solely and completely in the etheric and the emotional body that's intertwined with the mother. And that same connection goes all the way up to the divine, to our eternal self. And that's with us all the time. But what happened is, just like if all of a sudden I took I started learning about things and I added a layer and after I added a layer and add a layer, pretty soon you're not going to even be able to see me. And that's literally what's happened to us is we have so many layers out here of things that we learned that we thought was important. It's not. We're now removing those layers and getting back to, as Velvet said earlier, want to get back to that divinity who we are. And this is just one wonderful way to reignite, lighten, awaken ourselves from within with this particular product.
Yeah, and this is usually the patch when people first put it on. They're like, oh my gosh, I feel the tingling. And oh my gosh, I feel this energy in my body, right? There's that spiritual connection. There's the light switch has come on. And all of those stem cells that have been laying dormant within us are now enhanced. And that spiritual connection is strengthened, right? Because you're not separate. But when that light goes dim, we can feel that we are. So, Wendy, you did a great job with that one. I don't feel like I need to add anything else to that. Now, when it comes to the X49, I'll share an experience with you guys that's really going to really give you an example of this protection that we're getting with the X49. So when I first got the X49s in, I had my X39 on the back of my neck, and I decided to put the X49 on, and I'm doing my work, and I literally felt like I couldn't breathe. I felt a pain in my heart. I really felt like I was coming out of my body in a bad way, like I was dying, like something was going to happen. And Spirit said, I need you to take the patch off. And I was like, oh, okay. So I took the patch off and I had to move it away from me quite a ways. And then I continued to drink some water, continued to do my work, and Spirit said, okay, it's okay for you to put the patch on now. So I put the patch on and I never experienced that again. But then later on, Spirit said, you're always protected. So in that moment when I had put that patch on, I was under an attack, and a spiritual attack. It was by a person who meant to do not only me harm, but my friend harm. And so in that moment, I got a real example of how powerful this patch is when it comes to the energetic shield that we literally are getting from and protected from with negative energy, whether it's negative energy of people's thoughts that tend to do us harm, or whether it's negative energy as Wendy and I were talking about earlier about EMFs. So when we're looking at the X49, it's safeguarding and fortifying our energetic shield while we are in our physical bodies. And we need this, folks. And I mean, I think I even heard David say that we need to protect our physical self because of what's happening out here. So as beings of energy, we're encountering all kinds of energies that can potentially compromise our well-being. So, Wendy, would you like to share anything on that? Because I mean, it's a powerful patch, and we've been told that it's like works like a Faraday cage, but that was way after the experience that I had. And I see it so much different now, more than just protecting us from cell phone radiation. I see it protecting us from all negative energies that will compromise us. And so, folks, if you have a hard time going into Walmart and keeping your energy high and want to protect yourself, we're an X49. That's all I can say. So it literally is a shield. So found these pictures, Wendy, and I just love how they kind of represent everything that we've talked about today. And then being able to go through this with you of David's mastery of the crystal technology. So would you like to expand on these?
Yeah. So the first thing that comes to mind, guys, is there's so much information that has been hidden from us for us to realize, recognize, and embrace the power that runs through us. You know, we have the ability, you know, as has been stated in very wonderful books, we have the ability to heal ourselves like that. We have the ability to, you know, go down and hold that 20-year-old, you know, strong body that we used to have. And the only thing that's gotten in the way is because we've been programmed and told that we do not hold the power. We do not hold the light. We are not directly connected to the creator, et cetera, et cetera. And all these segregation de-empower us. So, you know, the more you realize that you are of light, you are of everything that myself and Velvet spoke about today, you know, practice it, think about it, smell it, taste it, see it in your imagination. You know, your brain does not know the difference between what you imagine and what you're actually experiencing, or, you know, what you're viewing. It all is the same, and it creates that pathway that which we all need to realize the truth of the empower lies within us, to create that wonderful world that we all desire, to create this wonderful being that we want to feel, and to feel free and more so connected to our divinity. So through David's mastery of the crystal technology, our vessels are primed to ascend to the celestial realms of awareness, nurturing profound vitality and harmony within. Thus, our very essence resonates in symphony, fostering equilibrium and grace among our sacred cells. Remember, we're all connected. We all right now are embodied together. We're all part of the same soul family. Isn't it beautiful? We're all here and we're all listening to this information and having these wonderful vibrations coming through the airwaves. And all of us are in sync, in alignment.
Yes, exactly. And our cells are sacred, right? They have divine light within them. So they automatically are sacred. And you know, David has said it many times that what's the first thing that he does when he wakes up, right? He meditates. He meditates. His wife even said on stage when he receives downloads, right? So this technology connects you even in a bigger way with being able to get your own download, right? To become more intuitive, to listen to what spirit has for you. And I can tell you, it's amazing. It's going to be amazing. So one of the things that we were talking about brought a memory of when I was taking my PhD, we had to do this research that was done. We had to study it. But what they did is and I'm going to show you how powerful you are. So they did a study where they took rabbits and they had a person, let's say Wendy, and they had her experience love. Like they just wanted her to experience as much love as she could have. And then let's say they took Joan and they said, Joan, we want you to get really, really mad. We want you to hate somebody. We want you to muster up as much hatred as you can. They took the blood from both of these subjects and put them into rabbits, injected them. Now, when the rabbit was injected with love, it just bounced around and acted like a normal rabbit, just living in its peace. But when they took the blood from the person who had to experience hate, as soon as they injected that blood, within minutes, that bunny died. That's how powerful we are. And that signal is coming off of your body. So if you've ever watched the movie What the Bleep, she has this realization that her body is 90% water and that she was talking negative to herself all the time. But the crystallines in the water, when you're talking to your body, you're talking about yourself, it's creating those shifts. It's creating whether that water is now looking diseased, stressed, out of balance, or whether it looks beautiful and in harmony. So with this being said, Wendy and I thank all of you for participating. We know that it's not meant for everybody, but we also knew and trusted that the people it was meant for were going to be here and are going to be able to watch this. Now, I'm going to stop the share on this, but I want to, some of you might be saying, well, now how in the world am I going to apply this when it comes to what I know about the patches, right? So this wasn't about talking about disease. We don't want to do that. And you guys that have been hearing me have said, have heard me say, I'm excited about our new language. I'm excited because it matches the 5D reality when it comes to how we are holistic rather than a medical insurance based society, right? It had its place. It still has its place. You know, there's a lot of people that still need that, but we're still transitioning. So while we're transitioning, we're learning how the patches can enhance that light within our body. We're learning, hey, you know, there's more to these patches than what I was led to believe or to think about or instructed on. But the other thing is that spirit also will let you know, hey, Kathy, I want you to start doing SP6 because of blah, 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 right? Or Adele, hey, let's get some carnosine in because you're a powerful individual. And I just want to ramp that power up for more connectivity. So listen and let the guidance. Don't worry so much about X, Y, and Z, but think about what does it enhance? What is the patch going to enhance? And you won't be led wrong, right? You're going to benefit one way or another. Now, I know, Wendy, do you have anything else you'd like to say? I know that we've got some chats in here, and I don't know, we'll have to take a look at some questions, but I'm open to, let them ask questions or hear some comments from you.
Yeah, totally fine. Sounds good.
Okay, so is this recorded? It's recorded and it's going to be on several platforms. So it's going to be on our tummy reduction, our facelift. It'll be on Facebook. It'll be in your group. So yes, and thank you, Megan, for answering that for us. CJ says, love this. Talk to the crystals. Yes, talk to your crystals and talk to yourself, you know. Okay, so Gloria says you curse yourself when you think and speak or act in judgment. Yeah, so speak to yourself kindly. I always give this as an example that if you were a 3-year-old, would you want to say those things to yourself as a 3-year-old? Because you are a child, right? We are all children. And don't be so hard on yourself either when you make a mistake. You know, one of the things I love to say, like, oh, I laugh at myself all the time. Well, I learned not to do that, you know. So learn to talk to yourself in a gentle way as if you're a child. All right, so glue has a golden and blue energy vibe to it. Love its swirling dance colors as it glides along my spine and into the higher spaces. So Gloria's already tapping in, right? All right, so what else do we have here? So disagree. If we think of something in regards to someone else, the body of the other individual receives that energy. Yes, it does. It can. Positive or negative, it is received by the other. And so this is one of the reasons why I think the X49 was so important to me at that time, because I didn't know the thoughts that were coming to me until after the experience. But yes, it can impact us. And it's also why we need to make sure that our vibration is high and our thoughts are so good about ourselves that no matter what anybody else thinks about us, doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter. Let's see, taking pearl powder while using glute. All right. We are nature. We're a part of nature. Absolutely. What happened to all the humans who did the experimental gene therapy? I don't know. Wendy, do you know anything about that? I don't know. Can we wear SP6 on top of the foot? I absolutely have put it there before. I really, yeah, there's just a guidance in our book of where to put the patches, but I allow spirit to guide me where I need that patch. There's been times an X39 and a 49 has had to go on the top of my feet, and it brought the energy to that area where I needed to have it, right? And then Susie said, this was absolutely wonderful. Thank you, ladies, for bringing it to us. You guys are awesome. Thank you for being here. So we're getting a lot of that they really enjoyed the information. So are the crystals in the patch natural or, oh no, they're natural. They are natural. Everything is organic, right? Everything is organic. Mhm. And Adele says, this was fabulous. It reminds me of how important muscle testing is to confirm which patches wear. Absolutely. I got the message to wear SP6 every day. I had worn it inconsistently off and on since 2021. And after doing Dr. V's tummy reduction and other detoxing, I released 25 pounds. Isn't that amazing? Yes, listen to the guidance and wear them generously. Thank you so much. Thank you, Adele. Thank you. All right. Are there any questions? I know we've gone through a whole lot, so you can just unmute yourself and we'll do our best to answer you. They are either in awe, shock, or okay.
I like Kathy. Kathy seems like, man, I'm relaxed. It's a nice night.
Yes. Yeah, so we got a lot of feedback that you guys really enjoyed this class. And we are, like I said, we're happy to have brought this to you. It was weighing heavy on us to bring it to you. And hopefully, like with Kathy, is that you do continue to take this into your night and allow it just to permeate and to really kind of go down deeper into your cells and into your mind as well. All right, so
I will
Can I-
say something.
sure.
Um, I have a friend, Rosemary, who's on this call, who does these patches, but I was introduced to them a couple of years ago when I had a health challenge, and I still have them. I didn't even know this call was this. I've been, she's been sending me some of Dr. Velvet's stuff, which is totally in spiritual alignment. So I just wanted to be with some people who were spiritually aligned with me. And I really did not know it was going to be about all these. So I've been pulling it out, looking, think, oh, guess I need to use these.
Yes. Oh, I cannot wait to hear from you and find out which patch you decide to put on first. Just let spirit guide you.
I shall. Thank you
Oh,
so
that's
much
so
for the whole
amazing.
program.
You're so welcome. All right, Jeannie, you want to, I think you're unmuted. You can go
I
ahead.
am unmuted. I just wanted to share how much I appreciate that what you're sharing is very much in line with what I've learned as a Jinshin Jitsu practitioner, which is like acupuncture without needles. It comes from Japan rather than China. And for whatever it's worth, for whatever it's worth, in that training, we literally got trained how the body goes from the unmanifested to the manifested and how it's layered and well, they're called depths, and how each organ is associated with a different depth. And it's like like a woven tapestry.
Absolutely.
Completely. Mm-hmm.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for adding that. Yes, it just reiterated and supported. Yes, absolutely. Very good. All right. So if we don't have any other comments or questions, Wendy and I thank you again. And I'm sure there will be other things Wendy and I will come up with.
Yeah, we're collaborating, guys. Don't put the two of us together. We'll have you set up for the whole summer.
All right, everyone, have a great night, and we look forward to seeing you again soon and hearing your feedback in how you get in tune with what patches you're supposed to wear and need to wear. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.